I challenge you to a duel.
It's the only argument I need. I don't want to talk to you no more,
You got a lot of nerve.
Soon you will know what it is like to be defeated.
Stop defending him, Sean!
All right, let's go.
I'm ready for
Hey everybody, welcome into the Sleeper Wire Great Debate Show for Week 9. I am your host, Professor Chris, and with me today, back on the show for, the fourth time this season? Producer Rob, what's going on, dude?
What's going on, man? 3, 4, 7, who knows? But it's coming up. What? Geez, good Lord, are we going on week 9 now?
Week 9, man.
Wow. Season is flying by, and unfortunately in my money leagues I'm not doing great, so let's talk about some players to help people get to their championships.
Absolutely. What's the league you're doing the best in?
My work league, I have Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey and Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett stack. So I also have David Montgomery, so if he can continue, I should be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs, but it's looking bad right now. I invested a lot in Juju, and it's been bad.
That'll do it. That will do it. What I'm doing the best in is the Pro-Am, 7-1.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
That is a good record going in. So it looks like, are you in good position to have a first round bye in the playoffs?
Oh yeah, I'm first overall.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Set up nice.
So I'm beating Kyle from the FF Fellas, great podcast over there, guys. Go check him out. And I got James Conner. He's done at 87. I've got James Conner going. I'm at 96 right now, so looking pretty good there. This is Monday night, so you guys are listening to this on Tuesday. I'm gonna be 7-1. And then the next, Mitch Renz, super fun to drink with, by the way. Drank with him in Dallas. Good time. He is 5-2. Looks like he's going to be 5-3. So yeah, I got a 2-game lead. Looking forward to it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm sitting pretty right now. Well, let's go ahead and get into the show. For those of you guys listening for the first time to the great debate that is, we are having a debate-style argument between two players. We get a couple minutes to argue for our player. We get 90 seconds to have a rebuttal, and then we get final thoughts. If you like what you hear on the show, please go to iTunes or Google Play, drop us a 5-star rating, leave us a nice review that includes something about the great debate. Really do appreciate it. And we got 2 more wide receivers today. Now, if we'd known this ahead of time, we might have been able to do running backs this week with the whole Kenyon Drake thing. Chase Edmonds getting hurt. Kenyon Drake might be a decent pickup, but you know what? We had already decided. So, wide receivers, Corey Davis versus Alex Erickson. And I've got Corey Davis. Rob, you have Alex Erickson. And I am going to let you go first. Why don't you kick us off?
All right. So, I got to say, Alex Erickson is not just a name you didn't know before today. Alex Erickson is an undrafted free agent, and he came out of Wisconsin in 2016. And he's not a big guy. He's running 6 foot, about 199 pounds. So he's the Julian Edelman type receiver that you can rely on in big games and big plays needed. So I know the Bengals are 0-7 right now, so it hasn't really shown out. But Alex Erickson is actually being relied upon as their go-to player right now when the play needs to be made. They are not just using him as a slot receiver. They're moving him all around, which is good because that Bengals offense has been absolutely anemic. But what we're starting to see now is basically that third-year breakout in a fourth-year player. In his last 3 games, he had 4 receptions on 6 targets for 47 yards, against the Ravens, 8 receptions on 14 targets for 137 against the Jalen Ramsey-less Jags, and 6 receptions on 7 targets. So he is an excellent receiving option for Andy Dalton, which is hard to say right now because the Red Rifle ain't exactly throwing good balls. But he's your Jamison Crowder, kind of Julian Edelman type receiver. And when AJ Green comes back, he's still going to see a lot of targets. He is not the guy that has to go against the number one cornerback, and he's able to get open against the soft zone defenses. He's been extremely efficient, and 16 of his 25 catches have been for first down, so he is a chain mover.
All right, so I want to take Alex Erickson's last 2 games out of the picture for a second. Let's talk about his first 6. 4 catches for 28, 1 for 14, 1 for 13, 0 for 0 on 0 targets, 1 for 7, 4 for 47. This coming week, 0 for 0 since it's the Bengals bye, so you won't be able to play him. Coming up after the bye, he's got Baltimore, then Oakland, but after Oakland, it's Pittsburgh. He plays the Patriots in Week 15. You may be able to play Erickson in Week 16 if you make it to the championship, but if you're starting Erickson each week after the bye, not sure how likely it is that you're going to get to the championship. In addition to his anemic stats for the first, 6 weeks of this season, we have reports that AJ Green is in line for a Week 10 return, the week right after the bye week. So it could be very easily a complete waste of your waiver wire spot, especially of the number 1 waiver, to blow it on Alex Erickson. We're all irritated that Green was never put on the IR, but if he's actually going to be back, then one of the other wide receivers in Cincinnati will be the odd man out. They're not going to run 4 wide receiver sets. Tyler Boyd is going to be the wide receiver 2 on the team. But it's going to be between Erickson and Auden Tate when they run 3 wide receiver sets. That's not good. All right, I'm going to take it to Corey Davis here. Now, with how frustrating Corey Davis has been to own, it's hard to believe that he's in just his 3rd year in the NFL. Coming out of Western Michigan, he set the NCAA career receiving yards record for college football, and that was good enough to make him the number 5 overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft. Based on that, we know that Corey Davis has a history of being an excellent wide receiver. His rookie year was, it was just that. It was a rookie season for a wide receiver and a horrible passing offense. But let's focus on 2018 for a minute. In 2018, he had 65 receptions on 112 targets, 891 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That was good enough to make Corey Davis the wide receiver 26 in PPR scoring, the wide receiver 25 in non-PPR. He had 7 or more targets in 8 of the 16 games last year, including 10 or more targets in 4 games. He had a couple huge games as well, 9 for 161 and a touchdown on 15 targets, 7 for 125 and a touchdown on 10 targets. He's put up wide receiver 1 numbers before. He's also put up wide receiver 4 and lower numbers before. The problem is, how do we predict this with Corey Davis? And the short answer is, we can't. At least not with Marcus Mariota as his quarterback. But guess what? Mariota has been benched for Ryan Tannehill. In the 2 full games that Corey Davis has played with Tannehill, he has 13 targets. His first week with Tannehill was against the Chargers, who are 12th in the league against the pass. He went 6 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown, finishing as the wide receiver 9 in week 7 in his first full game with Tannehill. This next week, he's got the Carolina Panthers, who are strong against the pass, but they just got absolutely steamrolled by the 49ers running game. The Titans also have a good running back in Derrick Henry. The Panthers are going to try to fix the run defense issues, maybe keying in on Derrick Henry, and that could leave opportunities open in the passing game for Davis. That's a narrative that you can take. But Davis's next 2 games are against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are both mediocre against the pass.
So Corey Davis has a history of excellence, certainly not in the NFL. He hasn't had a single season where he's been over 900 yards. And for somebody that we've spent 3rd and 4th round draft capital on, that's unacceptable. This season, he only has 2 touchdowns. Granted, one of those came with Ryan Tannehill. Last week, he had a whopping 9 yards. 9 yards. That is not what anybody is looking for out of somebody that they invested that kind of draft capital in. And I'm certainly not putting my confidence in somebody who catches 2 balls for 9 yards. He's only been over 50 yards twice this season. Now, I know Marcus Mariota is a bad quarterback, but when Marcus Mariota was at his best last year, leading the Titans to a playoff berth, catching touchdown passes from himself, he chose himself as a better option than Corey Davis. That's not a good look, man. You just can't. you can't rely on somebody who has been so unreliable throughout his career. 2 games does not show me that Corey Davis is ready to be the wide receiver 1. He has been a wide receiver 3 in his last year, and that's the best finish he's had. So for me, Corey Davis is a solid no. I just don't want to spend any bench space on somebody who had 2 receptions for 9 yards after his coming out party. So you can leave Corey and Davis on the side.
Before we take it into final thoughts here, today's show is sponsored by pristineauction.com. Hundreds of new auctions every single day, and everything is JSA certified, so you know what you're getting is authentic. It's free to join and free to bid, and you only pay when you win. When you sign up, enter promo code SleeperWire, and you're going to get $5 off your first purchase. Visit Pristine Auction today. That is PRISTINE auction.com. Let's take it back to Alex Erickson. Rob, finish it out here.
So the few things that I didn't get to about Monsieur Alex Erickson is he is a yard after catch monster. He's still going to get these targets after A.J. Green comes back because he can catch short passes and go a long way with them. So far this year, he has 345 yards after the catch, 345 yards total, and almost half of them, 160, have been after the catch. He's averaging 6.4 yards per reception after the catch. So he is shifty, fast, and they know how to get him the ball in space. Alex Erickson for Week 9 waiver wire pickup.
Going back to Corey Davis here, I was talking about his next 2 games, Chiefs and Jaguars. I actually think that Jaguars matchup not going to be too bad. They're not going to have Jalen Ramsey to shadow a team's number 1 wide receiver anymore. After Jacksonville, he gets the Colts, Raiders, and Texans, all who can be thrown against. The Colts may be the toughest matchup for Corey Davis for the next 5 games. They've been a surprisingly good defense. This past week, he got shut down, as he said. But Tajay Sharp and Jonnu Smith getting touchdowns is a rarity. Tannehill has thrown 5 touchdowns over his first 2 games. If he can keep throwing 2 or 3, that's going to be good news for Corey Davis. They're not going to keep going to Tajay Sharp and Jonnu Smith. This is another week as well, coming now, Week 9, with 4 teams that have good receiving options on bye. The Falcons, where you'll be missing Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. Bengals, you'll be missing Tyler Boyd, Alden Tate, Alex Erickson even, because he is on bye this week. The Rams, you'll be missing Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. The Saints, Michael Thomas. That's a lot of fantasy-relevant wide receivers who are out this week, most of whom are being played on a weekly basis. You'll get those players back in Week 10, but of course there are more guys on bye. We're going to have 6 teams in Week 10. Broncos, Texans, Jaguars, Patriots, Eagles, Redskins. So that's Cortland Sutton, DeAndre Hopkins, Kenny Stills, DJ Chark, Dede Westbrook, Chris Conley, Julian Edelman, Alshon Jeffrey, Terry McLaurin. It's a lot of players out in 2 weeks. Corey Davis, he's also 58% owned in ESPN League, so he's still widely available. And I'm not saying that you'll necessarily want to start Corey Davis. I'll be honest, it's going to feel gross. But if you absolutely need wide receiver help over the next few weeks, you could certainly do worse than that. He is a guy who does need to be rostered. Well, that is going to wrap it up for this week's Sleeper Wire Great Debate Show. Follow us on Twitter at Sleeper Wire Show. Rob is on there at esorbor1, so ESORBOR1. I am prof_Chris SW. Also, follow us on the Sleeper app. Rob is esorbor, and I am Professor Chris. Rob, thanks for joining me this week. Everybody else, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.